Hi, this is Joe for Amazon Web Services Training. We in the prior video we discussed about the well-architected framework. This is module 2, wherein we will be discussing the fault tolerance and highly available architecture. Okay, let me just flip to module 2. So yeah, to begin, let's talk about the meanings behind fault tolerant and highly available. Fault tolerance refers to the ability for a system to remain operational even if some of the components of the system fails. Now, it can be seen as the built-in redundancy of an application component. Okay. Then we have the high availability, which is a concept regarding the entire system. Now, its goal is to ensure that your systems are always functioning and accessible, and that downtime is minimized as much as possible without the need for a human intervention. Now, even if a site is unavailable for a single minute, it can be crippling to a business, right? However, the Amazon Web Services provides tools to assist in these times of need. The AWS platform is available for users to ideally build fault-tolerant and highly available system and architecture. AWS is unique due to the fact that users can build these systems with minimal human interaction and upfront financial investments, and it's all customizable to your needs. Yeah, so this is what AWS can do, build fault-tolerant, highly available system, minimize human interaction, and upfront financial investment reduction. So now let's just compare the availability for an on-premise location and AWS. Now, traditionally, ensuring high availability at your local data center could have been very expensive and typically only ensured on absolutely mission critical applications. However, on AWS Cloud, you have the option to expand availability and recoverability amongst whatever servers you choose. So you can ensure high availability on multiple servers, multiple availability zones, and also you have the fault tolerant services to use as you please. You can see what services the AWS offers that are inherently high available and which are highly available with the right architectures. That's the key here, right? So let's take a deeper look into some of the specific services that can assist in ensuring high availability. Okay, so we will talk about elastic load balancers, elastic IP addresses, Amazon Route 53, auto scaling, Amazon CloudWatch. So first we have the elastic load balancers, or ELBs as they are known. Now this is a service that distributes incoming traffic or loads amongst your instances. ELB can also send metrics to Amazon CloudWatch, which is a managed monitoring service. Now, we will discuss more about that later in this module. So ELB can be a trigger and notify you of high latency or if the servers are becoming overutilized, right? So for example, if you configure it to recognize unhealthy or specific metrics on your instance, it can be public or internal facing. And finally, it can use multiple different protocols. Yeah. So next, we can see the elastic IP addresses. Elastic IP addresses are useful in providing greater fault tolerance for your application. The elastic IPs are static IP address designed for dynamic cloud computing. That's the key, right? It's a static IP addresses designed for dynamic cloud computing. Now, this tool allows you to mask a failure of an instance or software by allowing your users to use the same IP address with the replacement resource. So using elastic IP addresses, it ensures high availability because your clients can still access your application even if your instance were to fail. Okay. Um, Sorry about that. Another service is the Amazon Route 53. So the Amazon Route 53 is an authoritative DNS service from AWS. Now, this is used to translate domain name into IP addresses. Amazon Route 53 is designed and maintained with the highest level of availability in mind. It was developed to support simple outing latency-based routing, health checks, and DNS failovers. And also, we can say geolocation routing. So all of these characteristics increase the availability of your customer-facing application. Yeah, the next one is autoscaling. Autoscaling basically launches or terminates instances based on specified conditions. So this service is designed to assist you in building a flexible system that can adjust and be modified depending on changes in the customer demand. So with autoscaling, you can avoid limitation of being able to create new resource. Instead, you can create new resources on demand or have a scheduled provisioning. So this basically ensures that your application and systems are always available no matter what the load is. So it is also important to keep in mind that you can set provisions to scale up or down depending on your policies. And finally, we have the Amazon CloudWatch. So Amazon CloudWatch is a distributed statistics gathering system. So it collects and tracks your metrics of your application. Now, another feature is that you have the ability to create and use your own custom metrics. So if there is a high latency or metrics that have passed the set threshold, CloudWatch can adjust automatically to ensure high availability of your architecture. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at some of the fault tolerant tools. So first we have the Amazon SQS, which is the simple queue service. Now, this can be used as a backbone of your fault tolerant application. It is highly reliable distributed messaging system. So Amazon SQS can help you ensure that your queues is always available. Then we have the Amazon S3, that's the simple storage service, which basically provides high durability and fault tolerant data storage. It is a simple web service that you can utilize and only pay for the storage that you use. So Amazon S3 stores all your data redundantly on multiple different devices across multiple facilities in a region. So if there was ever a failure, you will still have access to all of the information. Okay. Now there's another fault tolerant tool which is the Amazon Simple DB, and that is your fault tolerant and durable structured data storage solution. So by using Simple DB, you have full advantage to a scalable service and can avoid single point of failure due to its natural design for high availability and fault tolerance. Then we have the Amazon RDS or the Relational Database Service, which is another web service tool for you to use in regards to relational databases. So it provides high availability and fault tolerance by offering several features to enhance the reliability of your critical database. Now, some of these features include automated backups, snapshots, and multiple availability zone deployments. Now, all of these different services are highly reliable, highly durable, and fault-tolerant tools for your application to ensure high availability and fault tolerance. One more aspect is that building a fault-tolerant and highly available architecture doesn't have to be difficult. So with AWS platform, you can utilize the services and tools which are offered to ensure your application and systems have high availability and have increased fault tolerance. So for more details around what we just discussed, you can refer to the architecture page on aws.amazon.com and explore your options. Okay. So that's about the reference architecture fault tolerance. Let's go to the next module, which is the web hosting module. So here we will discuss briefly about the web hosting. That is, the scalable web hosting in a traditional sense can be expensive, time consuming, and a difficult process, right? However, it doesn't have to be that way. So web hosting on AWS cloud is fast, simple, easy, and low cost. You can easily deploy and maintain using the AWS comprehensive set of tools and services such as the compute, storage, database, and application services. Now, some of the web applications that can be hosted include a company's website, content management systems, if you're developing social media apps or an internal SharePoint site. Now, when web hosting, there are some common issues and trials that can occur, as we are all familiar, right? Like some of them can be related to infrastructure, architectural issues, and some could be cost. But AWS can provide solutions to these common issues. Now, one thing that I have noticed is a common dilemma that appears, and that's about the peaks and how do we handle them in a cost-effective manner. Although peaks and large customer demand is a great issue to have, it can still be a major problem. So to handle these peak capacities in a traditional sense, you would have to provision multiple servers. Now that can be a lot of time and money which is spent, right? However, AWS can leverage on-demand provisioning of additional servers so that you can adjust the capacity and cost to the actual traffic pattern. If your web application is slow in the morning but peaks around 5 p.m. based on the traffic trend, then the resources can be provisioned for what is actually needed at that time. So this would avoid capacity wasting and could result in a greater than 50% reduction in cost. Now, not only is your web application or the web hosted architecture being cost effective, but it can be a scalable solution as well. As mentioned in the slide. Now, in a time of need when your traffic spikes, it is critical that you ensure you have the instance you need for running. Now, a traditional architecture's inability to respond in time to these unexpected spikes in traffic can be avoided. So AWS allows new hosts to be launched and ready to be utilized in just minutes, and it can be scaled down as well whenever it is not needed. Now, another common issue that can be avoided is in regards to testing resources. So the last one in the slide. So when developing the pre-production, beta, or testing environments, it can be expensive and time consuming. Also, when the resources are unused, it can be a large waste of fund. So instead, AWS Cloud allows you to provision testing fleets when you need them, and you can develop staging environments quickly and with little or no service outage at all. So another perk that AWS Cloud is that you can have the ability to simulate user traffic during load testing. So that's again a key to have. So yeah, here we go. So you have decided that you would like to transfer your traditional web hosting architecture to AWS Cloud. So let's look at some of the AWS products that can be useful in the transition. Some of the services you might consider for web hosting include what is there in the slide here. So the Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, the VPC, Amazon Route 53, Amazon CloudFront, Elastic Load Balancing ELB, firewalls or AWS Shield, auto scaling, app servers or Elastic Compute Cloud EC2 instance, Amazon Elasticache, Amazon RDS or the Relational Database Service, and last but not the least, Amazon DynamoDB. There are many more services, but these are pretty much what you would actually look at assisting in any transition. Um, so for more information on any of these specific requirements, you can visit the AWS homepage in aws.amazon.com. There are many key considerations to keep in mind when using AWS Cloud. So we can talk about some of the key architectural shift when hosting on the cloud. Now, first, there are no more physical network appliances, right? So to expand on that, you can no longer have your firewalls, routers, and load balancers for your AWS application on physical devices, but instead must be replaced with a software solution. Yeah. And the next architectural shift is that there should be firewalls everywhere. So AWS enforces a more secure model and thus makes sure that every host is locked down, right? So you can create security groups to allow and deny specific traffics, but those policies must be put into place. Then an important aspect to consider is the availability of multiple data center. Now, with the use of AWS availability zones and regions, you can easily deploy your application across location to ensure high availability and reliability. And the next idea to consider, I would say, is probably one of the most important, and that is in regards to your hosts. With AWS, your host should be considered ephemeral and dynamic. So yes, in today's module, so we briefly discussed the web hosting and how AWS Cloud can assist with a more cost-effective, scalable, and on-demand solution. We also discussed some of the AWS services that can assist with web hosting. And in the previous module, we also discussed about the well-architected framework and about high availability and reliability. So yeah, for more details on information, please visit the Amazon website, http://aws.amazon.com. And that's about it. I hope you had a good learning. So hit the like button if you like this video, and hit the subscribe if you want to follow more of my videos. Wish you a happy learning. Thank you. This is Joe signing off.